They want a share of that title. We're within a couple of plays of competing for a national championship. Here they are on New Year's Day. For Michigan and Lloyd Carr, a turnaround of their own. They started the season 0-2. All they have done after all the critics and doubters were around there is go 7 of their last 8. Their only loss coming to Ohio State. And Tim Grant, by all accounts, when you look at this game, it should be a heck of a matchup.
I think it's going to be fun inside this stadium. You would think this is the national championship game. I can tell you this, Arkansas has scored a lot of points this year, and the reason the Hogs have is because of Clint Sterner, their quarterback. This guy is a strong, tough, hard-nosed quarterback that really gets it done. 26 touchdowns this year. He is the emotional leader of the Hogs. The Hogs are 9-2 because of their defense. It is a speed attacking defense. It stops the run, and that could cause a problem for Michigan. Take a look at these numbers. Now, Michigan has been inconsistent with its running game this year. Against Wisconsin, they got it going. Against Ohio State, they never got it going. And then in the final game of the year against Hawaii, they got it going again. But the big guy is 6'4", Ty Streets, the All-American wide receiver, and that's the biggest advantage Michigan has today. He's 6'4", going against 5'10" cornerbacks. This is a mismatch in favor of the Wolverines.
Well, there is one person who should be here but isn't. The brother of Houston Nutt, Danny Nutt, the running backs coach at Arkansas, underwent brain surgery some 2 days ago. We are very happy to report that he is recovering, and they expect the full recovery. He's back in Little Rock, resting and watching the game. For more on him, let's go down to the field and check in right now with Dean Blevins. Dean?
Well, Terry, I visited with Houston Nutt a moment ago, and he's one of the more emotional coaches you would ever want to meet, so it's been really an emotional roller coaster with this thing with his brother. He said, I want you to tell my brother Danny in that hospital room that we're going to try to win this game for him today. He said that he believes the surgery was successful. The family feels good about it. He says he keeps looking around for it. This is the first time in 6 years as a head coach that his brother Danny has not been here with him. As for Michigan, Michigan says, don't worry about us. We will not overlook Arkansas. They said there is a huge difference between a 4-loss season and a 10-win year, and that is what is on the line here today, Terry.
Dean, thanks. You're right. And the Michigan players have talked about that all week. They went 4 straight years where they had 4 losses, and they want to be a 10-win team, not a 4-loss team. And that's been a point of contention for Lloyd Carr as well. In his 4th year, 38-11, as Lloyd Carr, of course, won a co-national championship a year ago. And we are underway. Latteret's kick drives Thomas all the way back 7 yards deep. He's not going to bring it out to one knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So we take a look at the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl starting lineups, and the offensive line for Michigan, one of the nation's best. 3 All-Big Ten performers. John Jansen starting in a record 50th straight game for Michigan. The wide receivers are big. You know about Ty Streets, the big play man. They'll throw a lot to Jeremy Tooman as well, the tight end over the middle. And then in the backfield, Aaron Shea leads the way for Clarence Williams, who gets the start, but we'll see a lot of Thomas in the backfield too.
They'll also throw to Shea out of the backfield, the big fullback who normally is a blocker. They'll slip him out and try to get him the ball.
First play of what should be a great one here in Orlando. Clarence Williams gets the call on first down over the left side, out to about the 23-yard line before Jamel Harris, the inside linebacker, makes the hit. And the defense, you look at the front for Arkansas, they are deep, they are athletic. 3 seniors led by Melvin Bradley, an all-SEC defensive tackle. Harry Wilson, 27 years old, a former rodeo star, and Jamel Harris, very quick. And Arkansas goes with 5 defensive backs. The matchup today, David Barrett on Ty Streets. Second down for the Wolverines, and Williams again with a call to carry ahead for about 3. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 2, maybe 3.
When Michigan comes to the line of scrimmage offensively, I want you to look at the other side now and look at the white shirts. Defensively, Arkansas will take 10 of their 11 guys and put them like within 4 or 3.5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Everybody's uptight. Everybody is confident that they can't get beaten, even if they're up near the line of scrimmage.
We mentioned the Razorback fans here, but the Wolverine fans here in mass, as they always are, for a bowl game. 3rd and 2. Williams looking for room, not going to find any. Stacked up behind the line of scrimmage, and they have lost one. Jeremy Flowers was in there first. He got help from Harry Wilson.
Again, they jam all the gaps. You look at how close everybody is to the line of scrimmage. You've got the one safety back here. That's it. Then everybody comes, fills a gap. They've got containment on the outside, flood control, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 white jerseys. Folks, they fly around to the football, and they tackle in bunches.
Hayden Epstein, the punter today. Jason Vincent was the punter for much of the year. Michigan has had their struggles on special teams. Rossi Moriali back at his own 31. No room, but out to about the 35. So a punt of 41 yards and a return by Moriali of 3 yards. As we take a look at the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl starting lineups for Arkansas, the offensive line, another veteran line. All 5 have started every game this year. Brandon Burlsworth, the first All-American in 10 years at Arkansas. And this is a wide receiver core that has averaged over 15 yards a catch. Anthony Lucas has set records at Arkansas, over 1,000 yards for him this year. And Madre Hill, the running back, out 2 years with 2 separate knee injuries. He can still burn it.
Arkansas wants to run first too, but don't be surprised if they stretch the defense right away and try to throw deep just to get their attention.
Michael Williams in motion on first down. Clint Sterner directs the offense, but overthrows Williams.
Yeah, see
well covered.
That's an attention getter. That's just to get the defense's attention and spread them out a little bit and make them soft.
And the defense for Michigan, always a good one. Up front, Fizel, Renas, and Williams, the 3-4. They are very big. They're athletic and speed with the linebackers. Dahani Jones, a leader there. Sam Sword has led the Wolverines in tackles for 3 straight years. Tommy Hendricks, the big hitter in the secondary. But this is a secondary, Tim, that Clint Sterner in Arkansas think that they can really take advantage of today. The option, here comes Madre Hill. Skips by 1 across the 35 to the 36. Tommy Hendricks tripped him up first in the backfield.
Derek, when people talk about Michigan being big and strong and slow, I don't believe it. They may be big, but this is a very fast Michigan team. They're underrated in speed. Now watch this. They option the defensive end. They think they're going to get outside. But then again, look at the pursuit. Now we're bringing linebackers. We're bringing Renas. We're bringing Hendricks. They get to the ball quickly. They get there efficiently. They do have excellent speed.
Nathan Norman, the fullback, ahead of Madre Hill on 3rd and a long 9. Emmanuel Smith in motion. Now sets. Here come the Wolverines. Sterner gets it away, but through the hands of the intended receiver and incomplete. Anthony Lucas the target, but again, good coverage in the secondary by Michigan.
2 things, Terry. 1, every time he made his cut in warm-ups, he was slipping down. So watch his feet pitter-pat before he makes his cut. Boom, 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 and then he comes back. He's trying to get sure footing. By doing that, he wasted a little bit of time. By the time he got to the ball, it was too late.
Chris Aiken gets his punt away. The first one of the day. There's Marcus Knight from his own 21. Swarmed under. Ahead of the 25, maybe to the 26. Back in Orlando, underway with the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. No score, Arkansas and Michigan. This has not been a traditional Michigan offense this season.
Oh, take a look at this. I mean, they have thrown and gotten more yardage than they have rushing. First time since the 1960s. Michigan has thrown an incredible 373 passes this year. That's a school record. And 18 different receivers have made catches.
Anthony Thomas, the lone setback. Play action for Brady out to his tight end. Mark Campbell with the catch, and he's got a Michigan first down at the 38-yard line. A gain of 11 will move the chains.
Came out to start the game, and they had 3 straight runs and didn't get the first down. 3 and out. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, they say. So they come back this time, and on first down, they look for the play action. They look for the tight end. They slip him out into the flat. They get him isolated, get him some space, and they pick up good yardage and move the chains. Nicely done.
They'll bring in the fullback, Aaron Shea, to lead Thomas, who's trying to get outside. Harry Wilson wraps him up, but Thomas powers his way ahead to about the 46-yard line. And a look at some of the strength of 6'2", 221-pound Anthony Thomas.
Yeah, and Anthony Thomas is strength. I mean, they call him the A-Train. 761 yards this year, 12 touchdowns. You look at these numbers; they're impressive. He was teaming obviously with Williams, and when you put those 2 together, it's a pretty good force. Unfortunately, they really haven't gotten in the groove, haven't gotten in sync, never really got that thing going. We showed you they did against Hawaii, and certainly that's what they want to get replicated here today.
Thomas, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year a year ago, going up top to Streets, covered by Green and incomplete. Orlando Green with the leap at the last moment, but number 21 is a guy who's going to get tested today.
And both sides will get tested. Terry, that's exactly what we were talking about in the pregame. Streets is 6'4", and Green is 5'9½". On the other side, Barrett is 5'10". If there's a mismatch, an advantage to Michigan, that's it. Well, you just saw it, and Green came up big that time, climbing the tree and making the stop. But look at this. That's what they want to take advantage of, and they tried to do it right there.
Here comes Anthony Thomas, gets away from Melvin Bradley, but then stopping the ball's on the ground. Arkansas believes they have it, but the official's going to blow it dead.
Of course, it was ruled down. This is a team that has taken advantage of turnovers all year, plus 11 in that category. They force turnovers. They make things happen. They get the ball back for the offense, and there's the main reason right there. Keith Burns. He and Bobby Allen have this defense. Folks, they believe, they call it Code Red, and they play hard.
Keith Burns will wear you out just talking to him for about 10 minutes.
He's one of the finest defensive coaches in the country. Should be a head coach.
Came over from University of Southern California a year ago. Wasi Moriali looks at this one taking a Michigan roll all the way down to the 12-yard line. Let's go down to the field, check in with Dean Blevins.
Guys, you mentioned Keith Burns a little bit earlier. He's another one of those high-octane Hawk coaches. He was one of the 5 finalists for the Frank Broyles Assistant Coach of the Year nationally. Told me earlier today that that was really a nice honor. The numbers, though, are significant. The turnover ratio is terrific this year for Arkansas. Plus 11. Last year, minus 8. Other numbers, the Hawks this year SEC had lost yardage plays and inherited a secondary that was one of the worst in the SEC. Now they're number 2. This guy, Tim, as you mentioned, he will be a head coach within the next 3 years.
Clarence Williams gets the call on first down. He's got a big hole. Finally brought down inside Arkansas territory at the 45-yard line. A big gain for Williams, the senior out of Detroit. He goes for 18.
Yeah, see, and that's not something Keith Burns likes right there. That's something he'll adjust to in a hurry. He makes his calls, and he'll do it accordingly. He's just feeling things out. But you know what? To put an exclamation point on what Dean was talking about, remember Bob Toledo was an assistant coach, and you could watch him and say, that guy's going to be a great head coach. And he has been at UCLA. You look at this guy, and you say, he's going to be a great head coach, either at this league or the next league, playing on Sundays. But he's that kind of teacher, that kind of coach.
First down for the Wolverines. Going to Ty Streets, wide open inside the 30. One-on-one with Orlando Green. No contest that time.
And as long as they cover one-on-one, it is going to be an advantage for Michigan. We can't overemphasize that. Watch this. As soon as he turns his back, Streets, who's a tremendous receiver, reads that, makes his cut, picks up 18. It's going to be very difficult to man up on him. And Arkansas likes to blitz. They like man coverage. So we'll have to watch that all afternoon.
And the Razorbacks, fortunate Streets went to the turf. There was no safety to come over and help. He may have been gone. There goes the A-train. Anthony Thomas straight ahead. Down to the 20-yard line, and the Wolverines moving the ball right now. Tripped up is Anthony Thomas before getting back to the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Flowers, and really the first time that we've seen a defensive back or linebacker in the backfield.
And it's the first time they've really tried to do that. They overloaded the gap. They came hard with Flowers, who they call their banded linebacker, and they brought him on the blitz. Now watch how they cheat him up. He's at the top of your screen. They bring him outside. Nobody picks him up, and he's too quick. The pulling guard, who was supposed to pick him up, could not get there in time. This is a speed defense. They made linebackers, defensive linemen, defensive backs were made the linebackers.
And they love a situation like this. 3rd and 5, and it looked like the tight end from Michigan moved along the right side.
And the flags on the field. Good ball. Stop.
John Smith, the referee today, in his crew working.
Gets down. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. Remains 3rd down.
You know, Michigan used officials at its practices the entire time down here because they want to try to avoid penalties. It's something that has really, really hurt them. They've had a lot of penalties this year, and Lloyd Carter's trying to correct that. Here's your matchup down at the bottom of the screen with Streets.
They've been very good on 3rd down. Marcus Knight dropped the football, and he had 6. Kenoy Kennedy was a step behind him. He had the end zone if he just holds on.
It was Streets who got all the attention, and then what they did was bring Knight inside and tried to get him under the safety. Kennedy, 29. They did have him beat. That ball's got to be caught. It was perfectly thrown. Should not have been dropped.
Jay Feely on for a try from 43 yards. Got plenty of leg and inside the left upright. Hill over the right side again, a short game.
Pretty interesting what they did there, Terry. You went to that promo for the Bulls coming up. They thought that Michigan was kind of taken out of this thing too. They broke the huddle and came up with a quick play. They tried to quick snap it and catch Michigan sleeping.
Listening to the promo. Well, it brings up 3rd and 4. Let's go down to Dean Blevins.
Hey guys, watch Houston Nutt here waggling in his own plays. To me, you don't see it too much. You know, Steve Spurrier, he hires guys to do that. Al Mumby calls plays, but he doesn't waggle them in. Houston does it all.
You know, North Turner does that in Washington as well with the Redskins.
It's rare, though.
It's worked better this year for Houston than it has for York. 4 receivers. They're going up top. There goes Lucas with the catch. His first of the afternoon. To the 37-yard line of Michigan.
Boy, what a good read by Sterner, too. Michigan is in what they call a cover 2, where the cornerback's going to take the flats and the safety's going to come over and cover deep. So they've got him high-low, and right in between those two, Sterner puts the ball. Look at that. High-low, you got defenders top and bottom, and he still puts the ball in between them, and he gets his guy. Lucas, his first catch today, but they'll start looking to him, I guarantee you.
Gain of 25, and of course the first down, and there goes Montre Hill on first down. Tommy Hendricks, along with Ian Gold, tripped him up. Hendricks, the hardest hitter in that secondary, the junior out of Houston, an all Big Ten performer this season.
There's a look at Clint Sterner, the quarterback. You know, he's not as tall as some of the NFL prospects like Couch and Culpepper, McNabb and McNown and Bishop, but he's talented. He's a strong arm guy, very effective, very efficient, and extremely tough.
Yeah, not impressive in the airport or the lobby, but he is on the field, and this time he goes to Michael Williams. Inside the 5 to the end zone. Williams with a touchdown catch, and the Razorbacks are on the board. You knew they would break out at some point.
And you knew Sterner was going to find the range. He just had to settle down and start just reacting and not thinking. 5 straight completions now for Sterner.
Tom Lederer on for the extra point. Splits the uprights. Michael Williams, who had more catches than Anthony Lucas this year. He had 44 on the season. His 6th touchdown catch of the year. And the Razorbacks have 7 on the board. They lead 7-3. Michael Williams with a touchdown catch from Clint Sterner.
Came into the game with 44 catches. He's got 2 catches here today, including that touchdown catch.
Ladderette sends Anthony Thomas to his 3. Here comes Thomas. Got a hold. Cut back to the 43. Check that. It's Clarence Williams who brings it back in for Anthony Thomas. So the good return and good field position for the Wolverines. He brought it back 40 yards.
Terry, let's go back to the touchdown. Here's Williams in here. Keep in mind, Sterner now, 5 straight completions. So go ahead and roll it. Lucas came in and made a big catch. They go to a nickel defense to counter Lucas. And look at this. It's a zone defense in the nickel. Nobody picks him up man. He finds the open area, gets to the outside. Williams with the touchdown.
Marcus Ray had the best chance at getting him. That's a maligned secondary, though. Clint Sterner thought he could take advantage of it. It's the first time he's been able to do it, though, all day.
There's the chess game that coaches play. He gets hot. Lucas makes a catch. They go to a nickel. They play some zone. Bingo.
Down goes Brady on first down. Jeremy Flowers in for the sack. 40 sacks on the year for the Razorbacks. And a loss of 9 on this play.
Boy, Flowers is playing one heck of a game. He is causing nightmares for Brady. Look at this. Play action. As soon as he rolls, the first person he sees is number 30 in his face. Now, he was a strong safety last year. There's another one of those adjustments they made to get more speed at linebacker.
102 tackles for loss and 39 sacks. Those are school records for Arkansas. Anthony Thomas looking for room. Cutting back. Still up. Finally brought down at the 47-yard line. Ty Streets with a catch, spins away. Orlando Green chasing him down. He and Zach Painter get him at the 20.
Third down and long. Michigan had a mismatch. They saw it as soon as they broke the huddle. There was no question where they were going. They were going to Streets, working on Green. They brought him on the slant. They hit him early and let the big guy run. Great read by Brady. Quick three-step drop. Get it to him on the slant. Green overran the play, and then he just couldn't stop him. Now, Streets is not only tall, but he's fast. He's got those long, loping strides, deceptively fast. Covers 5 yards in 2 strides. Big play for the Wolverines.
First and 10 at the 20. Terrell in motion. Going to give it back to Clarence Williams, who cuts back. Got a first down and run out of bounds at the 9-yard line. So the Razorbacks get to the end zone, but Michigan comes right back on the next drive, and they're inside the 10.
Well, it's amazing how that goes hand in hand. You make a completion, then you come back with the running game. Defense is playing a little bit soft, and they busted straight up the gut. Clarence Williams has no touchdowns this year. As a matter of fact, you got to go way back to find a touchdown for him.
I think September of '97, the last time that Clarence got to the end zone.
Do you own a home or a condo? Then it's time.
Michigan with first and goal from the 9-yard line. 8:33 left until halftime. And it's a double tight end set that comes to the line for the Wolverines. Clarence Williams, the lone setback. Marcus Knight to the near side. Ty Streets to the top of your screen. Williams looks for room. Tripped up, falls ahead for maybe 2. And you wonder if they're going to try to get Clarence Williams that touchdown that has eluded him since the beginning of last year.
Interesting what Michigan's doing here to counter that guy right there, Keith Burns. They're bringing Campbell, their tight end. They move him in motion. They set him into an H-back position, and then they bring him up in front of the running back. Look at 88, the tight end. They're bringing him around. They're sticking him in front of Williams, so you're getting an extra blocking back. And I mean, Campbell's huge at 6'6", 260.
Second and goal from the 8. Here come the Razorbacks. The fade to Streets. Well covered, and there was contact. There's the flag. David Barrett locked up one-on-one with Ty Streets, but he got the arms in there.
Michigan coaches telling us they get down in the red zone. There's no question they want to take advantage of the height mismatch. Streets 6'4", DB 5'10". Watch banging and pushing and shoving down here. They're bumping and grinding, both looking back for the football. Incidental contact. Should not be a flag thrown on that play. Should not be a flag. Both guys looking back, gaining position. They call it interference.
By the defense, the penalty takes place in end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 2-yard line, first and goal.
Automatic first down, too. Keith Burns used to nut. They agree with you, Tim.
You know, first of all, you have to look if, in fact, the ball was catchable. If it's not, pick the flag back up. Then you have to look and say, did somebody gain an advantage by that contact? I didn't think anybody did. Both looking back for the ball, both battling, both have a right to the football.
So it's first and goal at the 2. Shea the fullback, Thomas the running back. There goes Anthony Thomas in the end zone. That's a touchdown. Aaron Shea, the fullback, led the way for Anthony Thomas. His 13th touchdown of the year.
Boy, what a great job on the Michigan offensive line. You roll it, and you stop right there, and you say, wait a minute, there's no hole. He stopped at the goal line. But the official down here in the right-hand corner saying Wilson got there late. The ball broke the plane. Touchdown, Michigan. Great effort by Thomas.
Feely's extra point up and good. expected more of this from the outset, but here in the second quarter, we got some offense.
Michigan takes the lead with the A train on this touchdown, Anthony Thomas, but watch how close it is. Here's Wilson with a hit at the goal line. Does the ball break the plane? Well, I'll tell you this, that's awfully close, but it did break the plane. That is a touchdown. And even though they pushed it back, the officials right there made the call, and Thomas gets the score. 6 carries, 56 yards, 10-7 lead for Michigan, but it was awfully close.
I don't think the official expected Thomas to go in the other direction. They expected him to end up 3 yards into the end zone. So Lloyd Carr's squad on top, 10-7. Just under 8 minutes left until halftime. Emmanuel Smith, Hubert Loudermilk back deep for Arkansas. Smith from his own 2. Spins up to about the 19. That's about it. Chris Chikuma on first down gets the carry out to the 20, a gain of a yard and a half, 2 yards. Dean, what information have you picked up down on the sideline?
Well, Fitz Hill was one of the 2 hangover coaches. Hangover maybe is not the right word. The holdover,
especially
coaches.
today.
Not on New Year's Day.
Anyway, he was one of the coaches that was picked up by Houston Nutt. He was just talking to his wide receivers a minute ago, and he said, Michael Williams, if they continue to blitz from the inside of the linebackers, you're going to get 300 yards. And then Timmy said, we're going to continue to try to get the double post. The double post. Layman's language, we're going to go for the jugular. Maybe you can show that.
All right, Dean, second down over the middle that time. They got Michael Williams, the man you just mentioned.
Well, if they're going to the double post, then they're setting it up right here because he just ran a short post pattern. He's going to go down 12 yards, and he's going to cut it in toward the goal post in the middle of the field, and they put the ball right there between the 8 and the 4. So if Dean's right, I'm sure he is, and that's what they would like to get on the blitz when it's man coverage. Well, they just set it up with a post there. Now they come back with the exact same formation. If you look, they've got 2 receivers, and it's Williams up there with Smith at the top of your screen.
First down, Sterner off play action. Plenty of time and plenty of room to run if he wants to. Throwing back, almost picked off. And that is one that, you know, Clint Sterner is going to think of twice and say, why didn't I just tuck it and run? He had a lot of green ahead of him and no receiver where he threw the ball.
Again, it's play action. Now, they didn't try to run the double post here, but the play was not there. It was well covered. He still throws to the middle for the post coming back, but what happened was Williams, who was supposed to be there, went outside, never brought it back in.
So it's 2nd and 10. They run the draw to Chikuma, who bounces out. Tommy Hendricks wraps him up along with Dahani Jones, but a good gain for Chikuma, a gain of 5 on the play. Chikuma bigger than Madre Hill, the other running back for Arkansas. He goes about 225.
Well, the name of Dahani Jones, guy from my neighborhood up in Maryland, a free-spirited hitter. We talked about him earlier about being a Renaissance guy. Here is a painter, a poet. The guy is very, very intelligent. He has great grades. He's a National Honor Society guy at a high school. Mom's a doctor. I mean, it is just one of those quality families that you like to hear about in college football.
Wants to be a neurosurgeon, and there gets picked off by Ian Gold. He may get there. He's got Sterner to beat. Touchdown, Michigan. Gold with the interception and brings it back 46 yards to pay dirt. It's the Michigan defense that has caused all kinds of problems today for Clint Sterner.
Well, I agree with that, Terry. I also think that Sterner is just not all there right now with his passing. I mean, his receiver fell down, but he's still not sharp. That's 2 plays in a row he threw where there was no receiver. Michigan was just sitting in a zone, and the ball just came right to goal.
Feely with the extra point. Up and good.
Take another look at the play. Here's Sterner. He's reading the zone. He throws it. His receiver fell down. Gold's just sitting there. That is impressive. He just threw it right to him. It looked like it was intended for Gold, and he takes it home.
Hard.
The Michigan defense, which led their comeback from an 0-2 start this season to win 7 of 8, now leading the way here in the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. The interception by Ian Gold brought it back 46 yards, and it is 17-7. Aiden Epstein will tee it up once again.
That was such a big play by Gold with the interception because, as you mentioned, their defense really is making the difference in this ball game. And Michigan started the season with 9 of 11 starters off last year's top-ranked defense, but their 2 losses were huge. Charles Woodson and Glenn Steele. Then you had Dave Taylor hurt, and then Marcus Ray missed the first 6 games, and Peterson was out. So they've lost some consistency, but playing well here today.
Especially the linebacking core, first couple of games. One of the reasons that you saw that Epstein's kick out of the end zone. And they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And a reminder coming up, the National Car Rental halftime report. John Saunders, Todd Blackledge, bringing you scores and highlights of the bowl games around the country. A preview of the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T, including a report from Tim, your former partner, Keith Jackson, out in Pasadena. And we'll bring you halftime activities right here at the stadium.
Talked to Keith last night, late into the night, almost wanted the new year on the phone. He sounds great. Looking forward to the Rose Bowl and the Fiesta. The Steelers Fiesta Bowl for the national championship.
Michigan beginning their drives at their own 36. Much worse for Arkansas. Straight ahead goes Madre Hill, not for much though. Ian Gold, the man who just made the interception and ran it back for a touchdown initially, and on the stop, Sam Sword. Now it's got to surprise you to this point the way that Michigan has been able to shut down Clint Sterner and the Arkansas offense. Michigan, a heck of a defense, but some way, somehow, the Razorbacks normally get it done. Play action for Sterner. Quick out. Nice catch coming back for the ball. Emmanuel Smith out at the 29. His 3rd catch of the afternoon, right in front of Todd Howard.
And that ball was rifled. I want to tell you that Sterner that time stepped into it and just ripped it. That was a terrific catch by Smith, who went up, snagged it, didn't quite get the first, although he reached forward to try to get it. Now you got 3rd and short. I would be opposed here to come back and just have Sterner quarterback sneak, get the first, then we'll get back into that first down mode.
Caston Chakuma, the backfield right behind Clint Sterner, who wants to talk it over with Houston Nutt on the sidelines.
Clint looked frustrated that time. Looked like he did not have the play, and the play clock had gotten down to the point he didn't want to delay a game, so he quickly called the timeout. Was not happy with how long it took to get the play in.
Nasty weather around the country, but not here in Orlando. 70 degrees, bright sunshine.
Just a magnificent day. We came to the stadium this morning, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky, and it just had that Swedish blue tint to it.
3rd and short. Sterner after the timeout. Under center. Here comes Smith in motion. Going to give it to the fullback Norman, who fights his way ahead, and he should have the first down. He scrambles outside the 30, and that's where he needed to get to, so they'll move the chains. And they'll have 4:21 until halftime here to get this offense going.
You know, Grant Garrett, the center, came into the ballgame with a bad back. They didn't know how long he'd be able to go, but Garrett, Bullsworth, Brown were right there clearing things out. They got the first down. But Garrett was slow getting up, the center, so we'll keep an eye on it.
This has been an offensive line that it's been a surprise this year, how well they've played. You look at Garrett, Brandon Burlsworth, an All-American at right guard. Quick out, popped up. Fortunate that that one's not picked off. And you don't see that happen, but maybe once or twice in a season. Anthony Lucas having it go right off his shoulder pad.
Well, and he looked back quickly at Sterner and said, "My bad." Pounded his chest. He knew that was his fault. The ball was well thrown. The play was designed. Now they're going to hurry up and try to catch Michigan here without being able to put in their substitutes and change their scheme for the down and distance.
Out of the shotgun and Sterner, they did this once earlier in the game and it worked. Flushed out of the pocket. Has room to run. And knocked out of bounds by Dahani Jones. He should be 2 or 3 yards shy of a first down, but a good gain on second down for Clint Sterner.
I thought it was interesting when we were talking to Lloyd Carr about Clint Sterner. He said, you know, the thing that sticks out when you watch the tape on him and you break down the films is this is one tough guy. This guy is a quarterback who not only is talented, he's not only smart, but this guy, if he doesn't want to be a quarterback, Lloyd Carr said he could play linebacker for Michigan because he's that tough.
To which Sterner told us he wants no part of linebacker
or Michigan at this point.
Third down and 2, an important one here for Arkansas. There goes Anthony Lucas. He falls down at the 38, got a first down in Michigan territory, and I'm not sure anyone tripped him up. But a big gain for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, he dropped that pass a minute ago, and he trips on his own here, so he's not happy with himself. But he gets the matchup right here with Weathers. And watch, beats Weathers. It's a cover 2 situation, so the safety's supposed to come up and help Hendricks. 41, he doesn't get there in time. That ball was well thrown.
Lucas with 22 yards on that play, and look at the average.
The 2 big receivers, yeah.
Arkansas, we told you earlier, these wide receivers averaging over 15 yards per catch for the entire season. Michael Williams, number 84, with a catch. And the short gain of 5, which they'll take on first down every time. Fourth catch of the afternoon for Williams.
Short game of 5, sure, but what it does, it brings up second down and 5, so now the defense has to think, wait a minute, pass or run, they could do either. In the shotgun, probably pass. Time's a factor under 3 minutes, so Sterner will probably go on the draw.
They spread the field, give it inside to Montre Hill, just as you said. And he's got a first down for Arkansas. On cue from Tim Brand, Montre Hill.
He had already given it to him.
I give you credit. But he picked up 9.
But that seriously is the danger of 2nd and 5, and that's why that pass was so important to set that up.
So it's 1st and 10 at the 25 now. There's the matchup with Gold. Out on Lucas. Sterner throwing it up, this time from Murray Allen. And incomplete. Threw it to the outside shoulder. Rossi turned inside. And that's not the matchup you'd expect them to try to exploit.
Now, what they were trying to do is they had both those guys on the same side of the field, and they sent Lucas into the middle, hoping that he would pull the safety with him, but he didn't. They still had double coverage out there, so that play was a bust from the get-go.
Numbers getting better for Clint Sterner. He was 1 for 7 to start the game, and then completed 5 in a row.
Arkansas really has to get some points on the board here to end the first half, down 17-7. I mean, mentally, as much as anything else, playing against Michigan.
Got 3 receivers to the far side. Michael Williams short-armed it. May have heard or seen Tommy Hendricks right behind him. And Sterner, with those numbers a minute ago, he has had a few drops today, so they're a little bit misleading. 10-play drive, better than 3 minutes off the clock. And Arkansas down to 1 timeout now in the first half.
3rd and 10.
So 3rd and 10 with 2:25 left until halftime. Play action for Sterner, throwing it up. Anthony Lucas, incomplete. Double coverage. And he was covered well by Howard and Patman.
Here he is right here working against Howard. Now when he gets to the outside, he still thinks he's got the double team beaten, but the ball again is overthrown. All he wants is a chance. Just put it in the corner and let him go up against those DBs and try to bring it down.
So Todd Latterette, the senior out of Pensacola, Florida, on for a try. 42 yards away. Plenty of leg. Inside the left upright. And good. Ladderett, one of the best around the top man in the SEC.
And that is a huge positive for Arkansas. We said they had to score on this drive, touchdown or field goal. They get the field goal. They're down by 1 touchdown, and they want to keep it that way or score again, obviously, by the half. But, I mean, they've climbed back into this thing because I think mentally it was becoming a huge factor for Arkansas. They haven't had the success over the years that Michigan has. Emotion is a big factor.
7-point game right now. We talked to Lloyd Carr before this game about what jumped out at him when he watched the tapes of Arkansas.
2 things impressed me. Their yards per catch, you know, over 15 yards every catch they make, which over the course of 11-game season is a tremendous accomplishment. And their turnover margin. They're, you know, they're turning the ball over much less than they're getting it back, and that's always, I think, the mark of an outstanding team.
Well, Lloyd Carr's team so far with the turnover advantage, with the interception by Gold and the touchdown.
And doing a quite nice job on the receivers. The receivers really have not gotten on track for Arkansas. So his 2 big concerns he's taking care of.
Anthony Thomas back at his own 4 to a Wade Ladderett kickoff. They switched it up. Thomas now goes up, but it's an up man who catches it at the 21. Rob Reedus, I believe, was the man. Yeah. How'd you like to see that man coming at you with the football?
Reedus making the...
Suppose you need some extra cash fast. What do? Drive.
Tom Brady throwing it out to Marcus Knight, who drops it right near the first down marker. And just under 2 minutes for the Wolverines now to try to get more on the board.
Second time Knight has dropped the ball that was right there. The first one could have been a touchdown. This one, of course, had the first and would have been a big pickup as they're now trying to get down in field goal range under 2 minutes to play in the first half. But that ball was perfectly thrown.
And Michigan with 3 timeouts remaining. Right now, Knight, one of the better receivers around. I mean, he caught 41 passes during the year. And he just doesn't drop them like that. Out of the gun is Tom Brady. Under pressure, throwing it back. They set it up to Thomas. And a blocker out ahead of him. Houston got a first down. And knocked out at the 42-yard line. Kenoy Kennedy made sure he got out of bounds. They'll move the chains.
Arkansas was loaded up to bring the blitz, and Tom read it. All these guys are coming, so watch what happens. They throw the screen right where those guys are. Here they come on the blitz. Boom, release, throw the screen. Perfect call, perfect execution. Move the chains. Outstanding play by Brady. His read, his execution, and the first down.
They place it down at the 43 now for Brady, with plenty of time to throw, and overthrows Diallo Johnson, the junior out of Detroit, who was open over the middle.
Pass intended for Johnson incomplete. David Barrett covering defensively.
A little oxygen on the sidelines.
Second and 10.
It was Michigan who came down a couple of weeks early, like they did a year ago, so they could get used to the heat. They were in Melbourne, Florida, and then came over to Orlando. Arkansas coming later than that, if they're used to the heat. Second and 10. Here comes Painter on the blitz. Picked up nicely. Complete to Terrell with the spin move. Brought down at the 31-yard line. David Terrell, the freshman out of Richmond, Virginia. And credit Brady for picking up the blitz and getting rid of it.
Remember we told you in the open field, if you're a defensive back, you've got to hit a guy high. You don't want to go for his legs. You want to get him high where there's more body. You can get him. You don't have to worry about a hard hit. Just be sure that you make the contact. In that case, guys were diving at his legs and missing tackles at the impact with the point of reception.
Keith Burns with that defense that blitzes and comes after you. They really haven't been able to get to Tom Brady at all. They've had pressure on him, but he's done nicely in the face of that. Gonna throw for it all to Streets in the end zone, tipped away. Barrett got a hand on it at the last moment.
Barrett just saved a touchdown, and Kennedy was late coming over because Streets was open. Look, He's got Barrett beaten here. If the ball is thrown to the corner, Streets has a touchdown. Now, Kennedy will come into the picture, 29, but he was late getting there as well. If that ball's thrown into the corner, Streets has 6 more. Great job by Barrett making up ground to get to the ball.
He's been their best cornerback all season long. The man who is the cover man. He's been locked on with Ty Streets much of this game.
And he is again.
Well, it's 2nd and 10. Here they come after Brady. They set up a screen again. Thomas can't get away from Wilson. Harry Wilson, a great play. There is a flag. And it's on this side of the field on the near side at the 30-yard line. And it's going to go against Arkansas.
Burns is going to have to make some adjustments at halftime. The backside screen has hurt him. A couple of times the running game has hurt him when they've gotten out of the area, run out of an area, and left the zone free.
Defense, outdoors, previous spot, remains down.
Dean, what's up on the field?
Guys, John Jansen, big number 77. You know what a mainstay he is. 6'7", 294. He's manhandling his man. Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. His players really respect him. He'll be a first-round pick. You know, his players are saying, you look at him, you know you just got to play harder. We don't want to let him down. That's great senior leadership. This guy's a stud.
They call him the Rock.
Yeah.
Academic All-American. He is a stud.
They're coming after Brady again. They pick it up again. Over the middle to Streets. Inside the 5 this time. 1st and goal for the Wolverines. He caught it right in front of David Barrett.
We tell you again, he's 6'4", he's working against 5'9.5" Barrett, but the height advantage didn't even come into play there. The ball was perfectly thrown on the post pattern, just caught him in stride. Give that one to Tom Brady because this ball is perfectly thrown. Watch the cut, fake outside, come back inside. Now he's got leverage, got the inside advantage, and the ball's sitting there waiting for him. Tom Brady, perfect pass.
4th catch of the day for Ty Streets.
Here's Jansen. We just talked about him. He's a former tight end. Started every game of his career. Set the Michigan record for his for starts. And he's also a great leader. We told you, academic All-American. Look at the clock. Call timeout. Call timeout. Look, he's stopping the clock right now for his teammates because he wants the timeout.
So Michigan will talk it over. 2 timeouts left for them right now, but 41 seconds until halftime, so that's almost a moot point. They'll try to get it in the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal from the 5. Great shots high above the Citrus Bowl here. Aerial coverage brought to you by the Bud 1 Airship. High above the Comp USA Florida Citrus Bowl.
Right now, Michigan's offensive line having its way with Arkansas's defense. Giving Brady all the time he needs to throw. He knows where that mismatch is, and we've talked about all day. You probably see it with Streets. And then the offensive line just doing everything it has to get holes open for Thomas.
Double tight end set now for the Wolverines. Anthony Thomas, the long setback. At Streets to the near side. Thomas looks to get outside. He's going to get there to the end zone, and a touchdown for the Wolverines. This is an offense that has struggled at times this year, especially with the ground game, but they're not struggling at all today against Arkansas, who came in as the defense that was maybe a little undersized, but they had plenty of speed and caused havoc. Hasn't gone that way.
Well, I tell you again, they bring the tight end to get out in front of him, but he even outruns his tight end. Thomas sees the flag. He sees there's no containment out there, and he just runs for the pylon and makes it.
Feely's extra point, perfect. So with 34 seconds until halftime, Michigan goes ahead even further, up by 14 now.
I want to show you what Anthony Thomas saw by the pylon and why he took this wide. Here's your receiver out here. Watch David Terrell, number 1. He knows it's a run. All of a sudden, he locks up Barrett. That's what the running back sees Thomas. He says, I can make it to the pylon as long as I've got David out there putting that block on Barrett. And he did, and he scored.
Well, there was some speculation that maybe the Michigan fans not as excited because they won a co-national championship last year to come down here. That hasn't been the case all week, and it certainly isn't the case so far in the first half for Lloyd Carr. This is what the SEC has done against the Big Ten in this game. 5-1, and Lloyd Carr wanted a piece of that.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and he was sick of hearing about that. And everybody said, well, the SEC is so fast that that's why they've beaten the big, slow teams from the cold Midwest. And you're right, that's a 5-1 advantage. That's over the last 6 years here at the Citrus Bowl. But keep in mind, Michigan and Lloyd Carr are 14-4-1 all time against the SEC. So, I mean, that was just a more motivator for them because they knew coming in, or at least they felt in their minds they could beat Arkansas.
Emmanuel Smith watches this one sail once again out of the end zone. Hayden Epstein booming them today. Lloyd Carr did say, though, that he'd be willing to move the game to Ann Arbor as long as it was played this late and with this weather.
Yeah, he certainly believes that there's an advantage for the SEC teams. When you come down here and you play in the South, you play in the SEC region, and, you know, he says it's like playing an away game. It's not a neutral site. Arkansas now has 34 seconds. They've got one timeout. They want to get this thing up into field goal range. To do that, they have to get up to the 35-yard line.
Their field goal kicker, Todd Lederer, he's long a 48-yarder this year. Going to give it inside, though, to Mondre Hill. Spins away and up to the 22. They're going to run out this clock 10 instead.
Well, they're deep in their own territory. They don't want to give any points back to Michigan.
That's what it appears they're going to do.
34 seconds and a timeout in your pocket. I think I would have at least tried to go to the outside and try to move the chains and see if, in fact, we can get up and get some breathing room. But if you can, then you take a shot to get it down to the 35, the Michigan 35, to see if you can set up a field goal. But now there's no time for that. This will be the last play.
Sterner going to be careful just throwing this one out into the flats. And caught by Smith as time runs out here in the first half.
The NFL Draft begins Thursday at 8 on ESPN.
Back in Orlando, Florida, the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. The second half straight ahead. It's been all Michigan defensively, especially in the first half. 24-10. They have the lead over the Razorbacks.
Actually, Arkansas ran more plays and had one more yard. But if you look at this, certainly the difference in the game, turnovers and points off of. It was that one interception to Goldie, ran it back for a touchdown, and of course the 7 points has made the difference. The only other difference there, because the yardage is within a yard of each other, was on return yardage. Kickoff and punts, Michigan has a 73-19 advantage there in return yards. So it's been a pretty well played first half, but Michigan 24-10, and mainly because of the one turnover.
Very similar statistically, but the Razorbacks have not been able to come up with the big plays, and Michigan has, and the turnover, as you said, was certainly a key. Arkansas won the toss at the beginning of the game and deferred to the second half. So Emmanuel Smith back deep with Hubert Loudermilk. They're standing at the goal line. There's Hubert, number 39.
Arkansas will have the ball first, but it's going to be interesting to see what defensive changes and adjustments the Razorbacks have made.
Hayden Epstein's kickoff. He sent 3 of them out of the end zone in the first half. This one sending Smith 9 yards deep and down to one knee. First and 10 from the 20. Houston Nutt's team trying to get things going offensively, and they'll try to do it out of the shotgun on first down with a 3-receiver set to the far side. He goes over the middle to his tailback, Chris Chikuma, for a short gain of about 2 to the 21-yard line. Dean Blevins down on the field. What kind of changes were made at halftime?
Well, I talked with 3 of the coaches. Lloyd Carr says he believes this team has some measure of control of this game. He said that Carr believed that his team had too many penalties. He believed that they need to dominate more physically. He thinks they can do that. Burns defensively said Arkansas must create turnovers, tackle better, and Houston Nutt told me, he told the team, guys, you got to have composure. You've got to sustain drives offensively.
All right, Dean, we'll see if that happens. 2nd and 9. Sterner on the run. Has the first down before Dhani Jones can run him out of bounds. So they'll move the chains.
Interesting what Dean said after talking to Lloyd Carr, that they had some measure of control of this game. Now, we talked about the statistics. You look at it, Arkansas ran more plays. They're within a yard of each other in total offense, and yet you did have that feeling that it was the Wolverines that really controlled that first half. He's right. Arkansas does have to get some sustained drives, and they have not been able to do it. That first down right there is big, but that's only a start. They've got to really get this thing going, running and passing.
A good start for the Razorbacks on the first series of the second half. They're going to give it to Chikuma, wrapped up in the backfield. Number 93, Sam Sword, who has led the Wolverines in tackles the last 3 seasons.
You know, when you look at this game and you watch what's taking place, Arkansas offensively really hasn't gone to what's made them this year, and that's been the pass. Look at this, less than 10 yards, 8 passes. Then you look at the longer passes, they haven't been able to go down there. They aren't having any success. So what Michigan's doing, they've got this umbrella defense. They aren't letting them go deep. And so consequently, Arkansas is trying to throw underneath the coverage, and they're not getting anywhere with it.
Play action for Sterner this time. Has plenty of time. And throws it behind Anthony Lucas, who is open right ahead of Dahani Jones. He had some room to run if he can get that ball.
But again, if you looked at where he was on the field and what was behind him, there were 7 blue jerseys on the other side of him. 7 blue jerseys behind him, so they're still throwing underneath.
Wolverines shutting down Anthony Lucas for the most part in the first half. Trips to the near side. 3 of 9 on the day on 3rd down. Over the middle, Williams juggled, makes the catch. He's got a first down. Nice catch by Michael Williams, and he's been the main target. He's got 6 catches on the afternoon.
Yeah, there's 6 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown, so he is having a huge afternoon. But again, he made the catch under the coverage. So I think Michigan came into this game with a game plan, and we're going to keep all those receivers in front of us. As long as we do that and make them work, we're going to be in control of the game, and they are.
Quick set, shotgun, inside give. Chikuma, the tailback, looks for room, and he's got some. Good gain to the 47-yard line of Michigan. It was Ian Gold that brought him down.
You know, he's a good-looking young player. He's only a junior. He was the leading rusher this year for the Hogs. He set that Arkansas freshman rushing record in '96 with 560 yards. Had that back injury, knocked him out after 4 games last year, but he had another big year. Ran for 166 yards against LSU.
2nd and 3. Williams didn't look for it quickly enough. Sterner hit him, but he wasn't looking for the football.
Yeah, and Sterner's letting him know about it, too. He just pointed at him and acted like, come on, get in the ball game. It actually hit him in the thigh because he didn't turn his head. Look, Williams is just shaking his head like, man, I got to make that catch.
And he does.
He does. Now, he throws into coverage, but watch, he throws it with a lot of velocity, slips it through the 2 defenders, and it just hits Williams. He's got to make that catch. Sterner lets him know about it.
Would have been a first down. As it is, it's 3rd and 3. 4 drops on the afternoon. Under pressure, Sterner's going to go down at the 39-yard line. Joaquin Fizel, who had 5 sacks on the year. Now there's a flag down at the 45, and we'll wait and see what that's about.
I believe that's going to be holding against Arkansas, so they'll decline the penalty and have Arkansas punt. So they'll decline that. They'll make Arkansas punt. But watch, they came with some heat again this time, and they're overloading. They're doing the old Arkansas trick. Here comes Michigan. They do a little stunt, play a little game, do a little crisscross, and there's just no way they can stop that. They aren't just big, they aren't just strong, but they too are quick. And that time you saw the quickness from the sack.
It brings up 4th down, Chris Aiken. The junior back to punt. Diallo Johnson back deep at his own 20. Not a good punt at all, off the side of the foot. But it does take a Razorback bounce. And down at the 28-yard line.
Pay attention to see how you can.
The first day of 1999. First game of the day here on ABC Sports. A full lineup. World Championship Series, of course, starts next with the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T.
Field position becoming a factor in this game now after that short punt. You can see Michigan's had an advantage there. They've actually outgained Arkansas 73-19 in return yards.
Clarence Williams trying to outrun Zach Painter. He does so. It's David Barrett who eventually runs him out of bounds, but a good gain of 5 yards on first down. There goes Clarence Williams on the swing pass. He's got a first down outside the 40-yard line. Yeah, and you can play a game along with people around the country trying to predict who's going to get the carry on the next play, who's going to receive the pass, how many yards they're going to get.
All right, let's do that on this next play. I say Michigan is going to streets.
I say Michigan is going to Clarence Williams on first down. How about you, Dean? What do you think down in the field?
I think they will fumble and Arkansas will pick it up and get back in the ball game, guys.
I'm telling you right now, see this guy right here? There he goes. That's streets. There's your matchup.
Dean going for the home run. There goes Knight in motion. And for once I'm right. Clarence Williams straight ahead for a gain of about 7.
So you pushed the right button.
My first prediction of the new year, and I actually got it right. So I'm ahead on the enhanced TV.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Melvin Bradley, who was shaken up earlier in the game, he's back in. In fact, he was back in late in that first half. So that's good to see. The senior out of Barton, Arkansas.
Here's a guy. One pass less than 10 yards. Everything else is going downfield. Came into this game hitting 18 different receivers this year. He's spreading the ball well. Goes back to the run like Terry Call. He's having success.
Anthony Thomas drops the football. It's loose and Arkansas has it.
Holy, Dean was right.
He was just wrong on when it would happen. David Barrett comes up with a fumble. And the first big play and big mistake by Michigan, and the Razorbacks have a shot now.
This enhanced TV is great. This is a big play here. Now, we talked about turnovers, how that helped Michigan in the first half. You've got to believe this will help here. Here's Thomas, gets stripped. It was Painter who got his hand in there and just swiped it away. And then here comes Barrett, makes the recovery. But that is a big play for the Arkansas defense after not being able to stop Michigan.
What do you have, Dick?
Guys, you recall Burns said right before the beginning of the second half, we've got to create turnovers to turn this game around.
Well, they did, too, and Painter got his hand in there and stripped it well, and Barrett was alert enough to fall on it.
And the first time all afternoon, you feel like Arkansas may have the momentum. That's another one dropped by Michael Williams. Keith Burns on the sideline with his defense.
Boom, then we're out of there. Hey, let me tell you something now. That was big-time defense. You had to go get the turnover. You got to tackle better, and we're a little bit soft. But I tell you what, we just got the ball back, and we're going to go down and score. You got me? All eyes right here. We're going to go down and score. Start crossing some hats on the blocks. Start tackling like you want to tackle, and it's going to turn around. Hey, great job with it.
That's Keith Burns. He's selling, he's selling, he's selling. He's trying to make him believe, saying, hey, look, we just made something happen. Now we're going to go down and score.
I wonder how many pieces of gum he swallows while yelling at his defense during the game. There goes Sterner with room. Cuts back, has a first down to the 46-yard line, and a big game for Clint Sterner on the ground before Dhani Jones can run him down. A gain of 17.
Sterner's making something happen with his athletic ability, but he's still having trouble with his defense. They're playing too deep, they're playing 5 under, and it's causing problems because he cannot find anybody to throw to. Here again, now he just tucks it away. Now watch this. He'll even fake the pitch at the end of this. Whoop, and pulls it back, gets the first before Dhani Jones can make the stop. He's a terrific, terrific competitor.
His numbers on the ground today. Inside give, Christian Kuma wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Powers his way maybe back to the original line. James Hall stood him up. Hall, the junior out of New Orleans, leads this team in sacks as you look at Chakuma, who had another good year. You mentioned a couple of years ago he had a great one before the injury last year.
Now, when you watch Michigan now go into this defense, I'm going to show you something. See, these two guys right here are the 2 deep. All right, now everybody else is playing under. Look at all these guys. That's what's really causing the problems here. And Arkansas has to throw in here because they cannot throw deep because they're sitting back waiting for him.
Out of the gun this time. They're going to throw more. Warren Allen,
like I said,
makes the catch inside the 20-yard line. Dwayne Patman on the coverage and the tackle, but they went big this time.
They were in a 2 deep, 5 under zone. And anytime a team is in a zone, there are open areas, but you have to find your way to the seam. Now, it's been difficult all day for Sterner to do it. There you go again. See the 2 deep to 5 under? Now they're dropping back into their zones, but if you stop it there, look at this open area in here. He throws it in the seam between the 2 defenders. It's got to be a perfect pass, but they got it in, and now they're hurrying up on the offense.
Quick to the line of scrimmage on the bootleg is Sterner.
That should be a flag.
And it is. Hubert Loudermilk, the intended receiver, but James Whitley was all up his back.
Whitley pushed him, shoved him, almost tackled him before the ball got there. What's amazing to me is that the linesman, the guy on the side, was sitting there watching it. The flag came from way back by the back judge.
Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator.
Against the defense, the ball will be placed at the spot on the 5, 1st and 10.
Whitley had good coverage. Whitley had good coverage, but watch this. He gets too aggressive. He starts to lose his leverage. There's the push. There's the trip. And then you'll see out of the left hand, the flag comes flying in. When the guy puts his hands up, he's guilty.
They place it down just outside the 11, so it's 1st and 10, and Arkansas can get a first down without a touchdown. Chris Chikuma finding a big hole and all the way down to the 2. And Arkansas offensive line now creating space for the tailbacks.
Come back to that Painter making the strip, Barrett making the recovery, Keith Burns saying to the defense they're going to score, and here is the punctuation. They're running this thing now. Chikuma's running with confidence and authority, and if they push this in, it's going to be a big boost for Arkansas, and they'll start believing what Keith Burns told them.
All started with that turnover. Norman Chikuma, the backside of the eye. Chris Chikuma leaping over towards the goal line, and he gets there. The extension got him the touchdown. The fumble started it all. You could feel the momentum swing back to the Razorbacks, maybe for the first time today. And now they're right back in this thing. And good.
Chikuma 6'1", 225 pounds. He ran the ball for 9 yards. He ran the ball for the touchdown, and what an effort to put the ball over and break the plane.
Anytime.
3rd and 4. Brady with time. Waited for his fullback, Shea. Got it to him. That's a great throw. Up to midfield and a first down.
Give the credit to that, not only to Tom Brady, but to his offensive line. They were trying to come hard, trying to get pressure on him, and as things were falling down around him, the offensive line just gave him a built-in pocket. Now watch this. All right, watch, he'll step up, stop right there. Look at this he's got protection all the way around him, in front of him, behind him. I mean, they did a super job of giving him that extra second there to let Shea come through and clear.
Tom Brady fired up. He's not the kind of guy who gets that excited out on the field. But he is right now. There goes Clarence Williams with room on the left side. Run out of bounds by David Barrett. There is a penalty marker at midfield. It's going to go against the Wolverines.
That's 8 penalties against Michigan. Correction, 9. That is the 9th against Michigan.
Doing the run, holding, offense. 10 yards to the spot of the foul. Remains first down.
Good look at the large crowd here at the Citrus Bowl, and of course aerial coverage provided today by the Bud 1 airship high above Orlando. Clear skies, although a little cloudier at this moment, as you mentioned, the front coming through and the wind picking up. So right now at the back of the Wolverines, but Arkansas will have it in the 4th quarter.
There's Streets. There's your matchup
against the youngster Green. Going to go over the middle this time, though. Marcus Knight can't hold on. Nice play by Harold Harris. He timed it perfectly to break it up. Harold Harris, only a freshman.
Knight having a big day, but Harold Harris gets the advantage here. Does not use the right hand to gain leverage. Goes with his left hand and strips it in front of Knight. Look at Brady. Thought he had another completion and just says, you got to be kidding me. Can't throw it any better than that. But that was a great defensive play by Harold Harris.
We got Harris, a freshman at one corner, Green, and Green, a redshirt freshman at the other corner right now, trying to stop these wideouts. And doing it for the moment. Brady looks to set up the screen. Finally got it out, but that play didn't look good from the time it started. And there's a penalty marker again. This time near the line of scrimmage.
Wait to see what the call is, but Jamel Harris is acting guilty like he's got one for taunting. I thought they had an ineligible receiver downfield.
Well, as long as it took to set that up, it sounds right.
That might have been what Harris was talking about.
Offensive interference against Michigan. The ball was in the air and there was contact. I didn't pick it up.
Now Jamel Harris is still talking to the officials.
Pass interference against the offense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Remains second down.
Well, we're not the only ones who didn't see it. Lloyd Carter certainly didn't either.
Well, you know, and Lloyd's upset. And this is a problem that Michigan has had, and that's why he spent an extra hour in practice every day with officials working on things. I mean, they've had penalties, and so Michigan had officials come to its practice because he believed avoiding penalties in this ball game was going to be crucial. He doesn't like the call either.
Double digits in penalties now, and there's 7:20 left in the third quarter. 89 yards in penalties. Brady on play action is picked off. Intercepted by Flowers. Taking it inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. His fourth interception of the year.
Great play by Quentin Caver. Watch 53. Stop it. Here's 53. He's going to make him throw when he doesn't want to. Actually gets a hand on it and knocks his arm. Then here comes Flowers. He has the deflection. He's got the dead duck football. He makes the interception. Now he's looking for help. And look at guys get in front of him. C.J. McClain down, loads him up. But the arm was hit by Caver. Flowers made the pick. Here's 43. C.J. McClain trying to get a block. And another turnover. Arkansas was looking for him. Now they're getting him, and they're going to capitalize.
First and goal at the 8-yard line. Chris Chikuma trying the right side, has a hole. Down to the 3. The junior out of Montgomery, Alabama, who scored on the previous drive after the fumble. So 2 turnovers turning this game around.
This is a nightmare right now for Michigan because they were, in fact, in charge of this football game. Now they've got 10 penalties. They've turned the ball over 2 times in this half, and Arkansas is about to score for the second time in this half and take the lead.
Double tight end set now for the Razorbacks. Nathan Cole, Joe Dean Davenport, the tight ends. Caston and Chikuma, the backs. Chikuma straight ahead, powers his way to the 1. With his Michigan defense, not going to give him anything easily.
No, and that's right. Give them a lot of credit because Gazelle, Williams, Reynes, and Hall are as good as you're going to find up front. They're doing a great job down here at goal line defense. But you hate it when your defense gets backed up like that because of turnovers. You know, we always say you shorten the field, it's like running downhill. Look at Burlsworth with his new glasses. Looks like Clark Kent.
He told us Drew Carey, but it's the same thing. That's who they're trying to run behind.
Yeah, see if they don't follow him up right behind him now.
Caston and Chikuma out of the eye again. Chikuma leaps. He gets there. Chris Chikuma with another touchdown. This time left his feet and jumped over the pile. And it's a one-point game.
And they're going to go for the tie, not the lead, and that's a good call here, going for one, obviously. Still early in the ball game. But again, they went behind Garrett and Bullsworth. Some of the players, I think, were losing it a little bit, letting emotion get in the way, call for two.
Latterette, again, perfect for the extra point.
Well, if it's grapefruit, you're talking Flame and Marsh, Ruby Reds, Oranges, Hamlins, and Valencias.
You got them all covered. Tom Brady. Zach Painter with the interception. Another big play by the Arkansas defense. Painter inside the 15 to the 11. The game has turned on Michigan turnovers, and it's done so once again.
The game has turned on Arkansas's defense. At halftime, you're right, Terry. He said, we've got to force some turnovers. Arkansas comes out. They get 3 this half. And you're right, Michigan has really helped them out. You look at this play. This is not a well-thrown ball because he's got coverage underneath by 37 Painter. You got the safety over top, Kenoy Kennedy. Painter had the easy pick, gets some blocking, takes it down to the 11-yard line.
First and 10, just outside the 10. So Arkansas again able to get a first down and not a touchdown. Norman leading Chakuma. Not much going on at all. Josh Williams along with Ian Gold on the stop.
What a difference Keith Burns has made here at Arkansas. You look at what they did last year. They were 40th in rushing, ranked 64th in scoring, and 47th in total defense. And then you look down here what they did this year. And folks, that is a huge turnaround. Keith Burns has brought a speed, attack defense.
Keep coming now. Got to defeat the blocks one-on-one up front. And a pass rush. Keep coming. Turn it over. We're going to get points. We'll knock them out. Play for the knockout.
Turn them over. We'll get points. Play for the knockout. They're doing it.
Tight end Davenport in motion. That's who they want to throw to, and he's got a touchdown. Joe Dean Davenport came in motion, and he was wide open. 8 yards and 6 on the board.
I'm telling you something. Arkansas has gone code red. They say you live by the code, you play by the code, and in the second half, they've been believing in making it happen.
Todd Latterette, the senior out of Pensacola, on for the extra point. It's good again.
Pay attention to see how you
Anthony Thomas on third down. He didn't get the first down.
Keith is college football.
Brought down by McGoodle.
Brings up fourth down. You've got to believe here that they're going to go for it in this situation. Still 7:53 to go. If they don't, then they want a little pooch punt down inside the 10 and try to back them up. Play for position, but you got to believe they're going for it.
7:44 and counting. So Lloyd Carr. It is 4th and 2, and it's a long 2.
And he's keeping the offense in. There's no question of going for it. There's Keith Burns with his short yardage defense call.
Maybe the biggest play of the game so far. Brady throws to Streets. He makes the catch amid the flags that come down in double coverage. What a catch by Streets. Surrounded by 3 white jerseys for the first down.
You know, if you looked at the Michigan highlight tape and it had 40 plays, 30 of the best would be on Ty Streets. Look at him go up, use his body to keep the defender away from the football, and brings it in. Great concentration with a defensive back, Barrett, on his back. He still made the catch and picked up the first. We told you he's the go-to guy. He's the difference maker, and in fourth down and the play they have to win this ball game, they go to Streets.
Got the first down, so the flag, they don't need it anyway, but they actually waved off the penalty. There wasn't one. There goes Anthony Thomas, the A-train over the right side. And he goes his way inside the 30 And he may have another Michigan first down. He does, as they call it a gain of 11. How many times in a game the momentum switches back and forth?
Well, we sure have seen it in this game. And this could be one of the best bowl seasons we've seen. I mean, we were watching the Purdue-Kansas State game the other night. We're watching Virginia game last. I mean, great games this year.
Sasha Lancaster, the defensive end, on the sideline with a face full of mud. Thomas sidesteps one, has room inside the 5. Run down by Randy Garner, but he's all the way to the 3-yard line. 24 yards for Anthony Thomas, and Michigan has done this with their ground game.
Don't ever question the character of this Wolverine club. They started the season 0-2. They fall behind here in the 4th quarter. You knew they had the character to come back in this ball game. He breaks the big play here, and all of a sudden you're down inside the 5 with 6:40 left to play. You got to believe, hey, here comes Michigan again. They'll bang this thing in and tie the score.
2 tight ends. Thomas the lone setback. Johnson in motion. Looking for room. Cuts back, tripped up, doesn't get there. To the 1. Nice play by Harold Harris to turn him back inside.
Down to the 1 now to bring up 2nd down, and you got to believe now all the rules change here. As far as Michigan and Arkansas are concerned in short yardage goal line defense, the rules now are straight ahead, no fair dodging. Toughest guy's going to win at the goal line.
2nd and goal from the 1. Aaron Shea, the fullback, now in ahead of Anthony Thomas. Thomas fighting his way. Touchdown, Michigan. Thomas gets there, and now you've got 5:49 left on the clock. Still too early for the 2-point try.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely too early. But again, right here, they went up behind Grant, Frazier, Jansen. They're big guys up front. You knew where they were coming straight at you, tackle to tackle. We told you straight ahead, no fair dodging. Anthony Thomas, the A-train, he just ran this thing right up in there. Now watch the power at the goal line to carry guys in with him.
3rd touchdown for Anthony Thomas.
Feely attempting the extra point.
Feely on for the extra point. Up and good. The middle, Johnson, touchdown. D'Ella Johnson, the junior out of Detroit. And Michigan is back on top. Jay Feely's extra point, and the Wolverines up by a touchdown.
Arkansas came up in the bare front and called jet, which is their blitz. And I mean, Brady made a great play on this. Put the ball right there for D. Johnson, who made the catch in front of Kenoy Kennedy. But look at the blitz. White jerseys flying all around Brady. He throws it before he gets hit and throws a strike. That was a huge play by Brady and a great catch right in front of Kennedy.
Who is one of the best safeties in the SEC. Let's check in again with Dean Blevins down on the field. Dean?
Guys, the biggest celebration took place with Charles Woodson, the Heisman winner, Johnson, his best friend and former roommate. They high-fived as he came off. Quite a moment.
They didn't give the Heisman pose, though, did they?
No, a little late for that.
Dean, I'm telling you, this whole stadium's rocking.
Yeah, this has been a splendid game. Great comeback by Arkansas. And obviously, you called it. The key play was when Michigan goes for it on 4th down to tie streaks earlier. But this was not over.
Don't forget, 2:25 still to play. And all the timeouts remaining for Arkansas.
Yep, 3 timeouts.
So now, Starter, who's a little bit banged up, now has to be a curator of the clock. He's got to go ahead and use that efficiently, and he's got to make sure everybody in that offense is aware of the clock and using the sidelines and moving the chains.
Emmanuel Smith with great speed back there with Hubert Laudermill. Arkansas has not done a whole lot on their returns today. Michigan doing a nice job of covering. 2:25 left to play. Smith, 5 yards deep. Ron Dane against Cade McNown. Look at those passing yards, almost dead even.
Yeah, well, Sterner has to be effective now as they go into the 2-minute drill.
Dhani Jones on the blitz. He gets there. Along with Ian Gold. They guessed right. They timed it perfectly. So it backs them up. It is 2nd and 14 now.
Came with the blitz. You got to believe that they're going to be aggressive. Jones is coming again.
Sterner gets it away this time. Through the hands of the receiver and intercepted. Whitley with the pick. He's taking it to the house. James Whitley goes all the way back.
And this game is over.
The first smile of the afternoon for Lard Cullen. Whitley, 26 yards.
And that ball should have been caught.
Yes, it should have.
Sterner could not have thrown the ball any better. Houston Nutt had a good call. The ball was delivered on schedule. It wasn't caught. It was bobbled, and it was picked off by Whitley, who made a tremendous play and a fine run to the end zone.
Extra point is up and good. Up 24-10 at the half. Arkansas erased that lead, but a celebration time on the sideline for the Wolverines again.
Take another look at it. We'll show you what we mean. The ball was delivered on time right at the break. Okay, there's Smith. Now watch. As soon as he gets out, here's the ball. The ball hit him right in the hands. There's Whitley, who has decent coverage, but couldn't have made the breakup. All he could do at that time was make a tackle. But when the ball bounced right to him, he picked it off, got some blockers, and took it in. Sterner did a great job delivering his ball where he had to, and it went right through the hands of Smith. Something that Smith, who's just a junior now, will live with that all year in the offseason as he prepares. And Houston Nutt says, are you kidding me? We had the first down, we were moving the chains and still had plenty of time.
And Lloyd Carr believes, although he won't admit it, that it's over.
Like we said, it is over.
Now, it's been the defenses today. There's no question about it. They've created, if not the points, they've created turnovers that have led to the points.
Well, you make an excellent point. The fact that it's 41-31, people will look at this game and say, are you kidding me? What do you mean the defense has played well?
Exactly.
But they did create the points.
They had Gold with the interception and the run back for a touchdown earlier in the game. And Whitley now does the same thing at a crucial time. There's now under 2 minutes left. And it was the Arkansas defense that changed this game around in the third quarter.
This is one of those deals, even if he kicks it into the end zone, you want to think about bringing it out, because right now Arkansas needs a huge play.
Ran right by it.
To even think about getting back in this thing.
Aiden Epstein ran right by it as the wind knocked it off the tee.
Terry, I'm not even sure I would kick this deep. I think I'd just squib it to avoid any chance of a big return.
Line drive.
There's your squib, and then bring it out to the 20 with no return. Good call by Michigan.
Round ball all the way to the end zone. Well, there's one guy who's watching from the Michigan sideline. Deep Lovins has more on him.
Guy Scott Dreisbach. I can empathize with this guy. He's now the third-string quarterback, special team player. But this is a quarterback in his final game here who was a starter. Back in 95 for a few games, played some in 96 when Greasy beat him out. But he was a guy that expected to have a terrific career. Didn't turn out that way. I talked to him before the game. Extremely impressive, mature guy. He says, well, I could have either been bitter or positive, and I chose to work hard and be supportive. He says, I love sort of being a coach to Drew Henson and the younger guys. Guys, this guy is forward class, and Booker, Dreisbach, is a guy that Michigan should be very proud of.
You know, Dean, we've talked about this all day. This game is full of a lot of guys like that.
You're exactly right. It brings out, we read too many stories and report too many stories of the negative things around college football. You're right, Tim. There are dozens of players out here that I met, both at the Peach Bowl yesterday and here, and of course down in Miami for the Orange Bowl. They're just splendid examples, not only of athletes, but student athletes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we talked about Bullsworth, talked about Reynes, we talked about Jansen. All those guys, those are academic guys.
And some guys who may not end up on the next level playing, as most of the guys you mentioned, especially Dreisbach, their experience in college certainly helping them in whatever they do after that. And Dean's right, he is a class act. We spent time with him this week. That one incomplete from Sterner. Clint on that bad ankle.
A couple of things you can walk away from this ball game and say. And football is back at Arkansas with Houston Nutt, Keith Burns, and that entire staff, Bobby Allen, who did a terrific job. And for Michigan, a team that started 0-2 after a national championship team, and I mean was being barraged nationally by negative press. They pulled that thing together, showed that they were champions, came back, had a terrific year, came down here to the Citrus Bowl. Some said, well, maybe they're disappointed they're in the Citrus Bowl. They have come up big time here this afternoon.
3rd and 19. Sterner's trying to run for it. Got to get to the 30-yard line. Drilled out of bounds. Donnie Jones and Marcus Ray double-teamed him. Take a moment to be selfish. Our entire crew, Mark Loomis, David Kiviat in the truck. Don Madry, our statistician, Mark Williams, our spotter, this entire crew, everyone that helps out. It's a classy group that we've worked with all year long. Thanks to them. Michael Williams with the catch. He has a first down as the clock stops for a moment at 1:19.
And you also mentioned that the BCS beginning this weekend, and of course that means 2 more games for our colleague Keith Jackson. He'll wind up his career at the Tostita Fiesta Bowl on Monday night. We wish Keith only the best.
You had the thrill of working with him. The rest of us just admired him, and he has influenced everybody who sat in back of a microphone the last 25 years or so. He is college football.
He is college football, and he never changes. I mean, we were on the phone last night. We were like 2 kids just talking football and talking about the various coaches, state of college football, and the BCS, and everything that's taking place this weekend. And it's just, it's always fun to talk with Keith because he is college football. He loves it.
10 yards assessed from the spot of the foul. Remains first down.
High above the Citrus Bowl. How are you?
Happy New Year, everybody. It has been a lot of fun down here this week. I can guarantee you that.
Partner, it's been fun, too.
It has
been a great year of college football. And
Mark Williams and John Madry, who sit up in the booth with us every week, we thank them, too.
Loudermilk, the intended receiver, threw his hands. He had a chance to catch that between defenders.
You could feel the tide turn in the second half here. I mean, Arkansas came out and really started playing well. They got their 21 points, and all of a sudden, Tom Brady steps up, and you could just say, this is a team with character. They're starting to bow their back now. They won the championship last year. They want to walk away with a Citrus Bowl championship. They're co-Big Ten champions, and Brady came up big time. A terrific job here by Houston Nutt as well. Football is back.
Living the dream. Going up the Little Rock and being able to accomplish this. Having more fun than he's ever had, and our best go out to his brother Danny, and certainly the thoughts of Houston on his brother, but doing well in Little Rock. Smith, the intended receiver. Sterner overthrows him. Happy birthday to my wife Lisa, as a matter of fact, if I can be really selfish right now while we're getting all those out. New Year's Day. At home watching as Lloyd Carr had a smile a moment ago because we talked to him this week, and as you said, he was excited about being here because you got to remember what they went through at the beginning of the year, being 0-2. This is Michigan. It's not a normal 0-2. They came after a national championship and started the season that way. And couldn't hold on. Anthony Jordan, a redshirt freshman from Jersey City.
Hate to bring this up, but Michigan talks defensively. Snap bubble hits, that was one of them right there. I mean, that was a slobber knocker. Oh, my.
Hubert checking out where he is right now. And then wondering. Brandon Burlsworth.
We'll next see him playing on Sunday afternoons.
Arkansas having to replace 4 of the 5 guys up front offensively, and they've started to do it already. They brought in a number of recruits.
There goes the bucket over the head of Lloyd Carr again. It doesn't hurt as much when you're in Florida.
Mark Campbell, the tight end, with a hug for Lloyd Carr. As the Wolverines take over, and they run out the final 39 seconds. 14-point game, but this one was closer than that. Michigan had trailed 31-24 after being up 24-10 at the half.
Well, it was 31-31 with 4 minutes to play now. And then Michigan just turned it on.
Second straight 10-win season for Lloyd Carr. That's what the players talked about throughout the week, how important it was to win 10 games instead of lose 4 games.
And he certainly was making that point to his team all week in practice and all the meetings. He was saying, you can just tell by saying it, 10-3 sounds a whole lot better than 9-4, and he's right. I mean, that is 10 wins, and he continues to keep that streak going, and now they'll start to rebuild. Recruiting is going on. He's got a lot of guys coming back, and again, at Michigan, every year they focus in on that national championship.
For the final 10 seconds of this one off the clock, Arkansas with a great turnaround season this year after 4-7, 4-7. But they lose to Michigan in the CompUSA Florida Citrus.